From being overshadowed by basketball's greatest star to a super close three-way competition leading to an unfair win, these are the biggest snubs in the NBA for the MVP award. The NBA MVP award is one of the most prestigious individual awards in basketball. It is given to the player who is deemed the most valuable to their team during the regular season. The first MVP award was given in 1956 to Bob Pettit of the St. Louis Hawks. Since then, a total of 35 different players have won the award, with some winning multiple times. There are many deciding factors that go into determining the MVP, including a player's individual statistics, team success, and overall impact on the game. For example, a player who averages 30 points per game may not necessarily win the award if their team does not make the playoffs. On the other hand, a player who averages 20 points per game but leads their team to a top seed in the playoffs may be a strong candidate for the award. Some of the most notable MVP winners include Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal. These players not only had impressive individual statistics but also led their teams to multiple championships. There's no doubt that the NBA MVP award is a great honor and a testament to a player's hard work and dedication to the game. But over the years, there have been some massive snubs in the NBA where deserving players were unfairly disregarded, often causing heaps of uproar among fans and players alike. To begin, we have to pay homage to possibly the greatest basketball star to have ever graced the court, Michael Jordan. Jordan bagged a total of 5 regular season MVPs in his super impressive 15-year span on the court. The NBA legend never struggled to find motivation, and by the 1997 NBA Finals, Jordan had won 4 MVP awards, and his 1996-97 season should have awarded him his 5th one. However, voters sorely disagreed, and the trophy wound up in the hands of Karl Malone. Jordan later admitted he was far from happy with the voters' pronouncement that year. In the Last Dance documentary, Jordan spoke out on the matter saying, "I'm not saying he wasn't deserving of it." But he went on to say how the loss fueled a fire within him and pushed him to come back stronger. He added, "Okay, you think he's the MVP. That's fine, no problem." Jordan later went on to grab his 5th MVP award, but this snub will forever go down in NBA history as one of the biggest. Skip forward to the 2010 to 2011 season, and we have another juicy snub for you to steam over. Derrick Rose was awarded the MVP award that season, and while he is, of course, a phenomenal player, there were 2 other players that season who deserved that shiny award more than him. Hint, hint, LeBron James and Dwight Howard. We're not saying that Rose didn't have an impressive season, though. Many will argue that he deserved his win for the NBA MVP award in the 2010-11 season. He had an outstanding season, averaging 25 points, 7.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds per game, while leading the Chicago Bulls to the best record in the Eastern Conference. But LeBron James was hot on his tail. James also had a fantastic season in 2010-11, averaging 26.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, while leading the Miami Heat to the second-best record in the Eastern Conference. However, the MVP award is not simply given to the player with the best statistics. The award is also based on a player's impact on their team's success, and the Chicago Bulls had a better record than the Miami Heat that season. But then we need to throw Dwight Howard into the 2010-11 conversation. Howard had a solid season, averaging 22.9 points, 14.1 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks per game while leading the Orlando Magic to the 4th best record in the Eastern Conference. But somehow, Rose ended up with the win. This could be due to the fact that Rose was the best player on the Bulls team that did not have any other All-Stars, while LeBron James was playing alongside fellow All-Stars Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. But come on, we really don't think that should have been a deciding factor. Given that James' average points were higher, he really should have taken home the award. And the fact that he didn't cause a substantial amount of upset. Speaking of upset, let's dive back to 5 years ago when the 2005 to 2006 season saw Steve Nash win over Kobe Bryant. This season set up some massive fireworks for Bryant, and he most definitely provided basketball lovers with some outstanding work on the court. To this day, Bryant's 35.4 points per game marked the 9th highest single-season average in NBA history. He also had 2 of the most massive scoring games in league history, First off, scoring 62 points in 3 quarters against the Dallas Mavericks, then moving on to score 81 points against the Toronto Raptors a mere 1 month later. Of course, this doesn't mean that Nash didn't do extremely well too. He put up a 50-40-90 season while leading the league in assists on a 54 win. But there is no doubt at all that Kobe Bryant was evidently the most valuable player in the league, as he miraculously pulled a ragtag roster to the 7th seed in the Western Conference. He also boasted the 5th highest effective field goal percentage of his entire career. However, despite this mega snub, Bryant went on to win MVP 2 seasons later. But ironically, his award would have been better placed in the hands of Chris Paul. Well, that was a drastic turn of events. So, Bryant won his first MVP award in the 2007-2008 season. And don't worry, we're by no means suggesting that Kobe Bryant isn't worthy of an MVP award. It just turns out that he won the wrong one. As we already said, his 2006 award was unfairly pulled from under his feet by an undeserving Nash. But it appears the league recognized this grave mistake, and a recognition was given in its place, but as a Lifetime Achievement Award. But in regards to the 2007-08 season, Chris Paul was inarguably the more valuable player that season over Bryant. And LeBron James also got a major look that season. But we have to look at the deciding factors and break them down a little bit. This season sparked many debates across the basketball world as to who should have won between James, Paul, and Bryant that year, mainly due to Paul's superior team achievements and LeBron missing 5 more games. For the 2007-08 season, Bryant placed 3rd in box plus-minus, 4th in win shares, 7th in VORP, and 8th in PER. James and Paul competed for the top 2 slots in each of those divisions. Bryant lost the scoring competition to James, who not only had a worse supporting cast, but also higher efficiency scores. With Bryant sitting on the bench, the Lakers were 8.6 points per 100 possessions weaker. And without Paul, the Hornets lost 10.3 points per 100 possessions, while James's Cavaliers lost 10.9. And we shouldn't forget that Kobe requested a move prior to this season. The Lakers began the season with a rather unimpressive record of 9-8 while coping with continuous rumors before gradually developing into a contender. But Bryant's negative value he created off the court must be taken into consideration, even if his total on-court worth was equal to that of Paul and James, which it wasn't. When discussing who deserves what, it ultimately comes down to personal preference. So, the real question at hand here was who should have won between Paul and James, and to be honest, many see this as a totally subjective matter. James boasted a pretty noticeable edge in most individual numbers, yet Paul's team won 11 more games and achieved this in a much more difficult Western Conference. However, James ended up missing 5 more games. So, while it seemed like a tough one to call, if you add all of those stats up, James should have been a clear favorite, with LeBron closely behind as a commendable choice as well. However, as we all know, the NBA can be a pretty complex sport at times. So, from being overshadowed by basketball's greatest star to a super close 3-way competition leading to an unfair win, these were the biggest snubs in the NBA for the MVP award.